Oh, hello. Shall we start? Yeah, sure, okay. So this will just be a quick little video about about gear. So if you're not interested in gear or camera, I don't know why you clicked this video, but I appreciate that you did, so you can subscribe anyways. But for the rest of you who actually came for the gear review or the camera comparison review, I don't know what the video is going to be called, but for those of you who's here for that reason, welcome, glad to see you. Hi, hello, hey son. So I thought to myself, there's a lot of creators coming up every day, people asking, yo, Alesso, because I use cameras, yo, Alesso, what camera should I buy? What lens should I use? Can I just use my phone? Oh, hell no. So I mean, that led me to think, does people really know what the difference between different cameras are, or necessarily what they need in a camera? Because if you're not interested in cameras, I mean, it's very easy for me who's in the business. Whoa, sounds so bourgeois. That's French. But I mean, I can just assume that this is the same for a mechanic who's working with cars, and people say, what's broke? It's a bad comparison, sorry. So I've broken this whole segment, I guess we can call it, down to 5 categories maybe. And those categories are brands, functions, price, usage, and value. And for those of you who don't own a camera, this might be new territory. For those of you who do, you're welcome, thank you. So let's tackle number 1. So what different brands are there out there? There's a lot, actually. I could recommend Canon or Sony because they're most common, they're cheap, and if you're looking to save a bit of money, which is price and value, Sonys and Canons are quite easy to find online, secondhand, they're not hard to get your hands on. And all these categories kind of tie together because the brands are tied to usage, because there are of course differences between Canons and Sonys. I'm more of a Canon man myself. I use a Canon right now, but I do have a Sony a7R II, which I use for photography and stuff. But I mean, it's been hard actually to transition between the two operating systems and user faces. I mean, they're different, of course. And certain stuff Canon wins in and certain stuff Sony wins in. For instance, this is a wonderful camera, full frame with the bodies the size of the M50, but it doesn't have touch. Its battery life is crap. It takes good pictures, I mean really good pictures. Whilst this camera has flip out screens, so I can see my beautiful face while I do this video. That is helpful. Sony's autofocus is not quite as good as Canon's because Canon has dual pixel autofocus, which is mwah. I mean, I have never trusted an autofocus like I trust Canon's autofocus, and I'm gonna show you side-by-side comparisons between the Canon M50 and the Sony a7R II. And yes, I do know that is not a fair comparison because this is an APS-C sensor, this is a full frame sensor. The price differs by, I don't know, 2-3 fold maybe. I mean, there's a difference, of course. So I would recommend either getting a Sony or a Canon, but Sony has like a 6500, correct me if I'm wrong, or a 5100, which also do have a flip-up screen, but it flips upwards, so it interferes with the microphone. I'm gonna show you a picture here where the screen flips upwards. I mean, it's kind of strange because I can't have a microphone on camera, but yeah, compromises, right? And over to functions. Wow. If I'm going to choose between a Sony and a Canon, I usually look at the user interface and the functions. I have the M50, I've had it for a year and a half now, and I mean, it's an amazing camera, really. It shoots 4K, though in crop is a horrible crop, and you don't have dual pixel autofocus in 4K, you have like contrast focus, I guess, which I mean is the same that the Sony has either way, so it's not that bad, but the dual pixel autofocus is quite amazing actually. It shoots 1080p, like 50, 30, 25, maybe 24 in PAL, I don't know. And it also shoots like 100 or 120 frames per second in 720p with no autofocus, so it's all manual, which is kind of bad. But however, the camera is really good in all the other departments, so it's kind of a trade-off. The camera is really cheap, by the way. I think it's like $500 now, maybe. However, the Sony a7R II and also the a6500 and a 6000, I'm not quite sure on the details, but this one also shoots 4K, no crop, 1080 with 60, 30, 25, 24, and it shoots 120 frames per second with autofocus and audio, because the M50 does not have audio in slow motion. Kinda sad actually. However, as I mentioned, this one costs 2-3 times as much as the M50, but it's quite good, and it's full frame. And for the people out there who are using APS-C sensors, I mean, it's not bad, but full frame is, it's perfect. It's candy. It's yeah. Which led me a bit into price. I've already covered this. You know, you can find great vlogging cameras for $200-300. If you move up to $500, $600, $700, you can get an amazing camera like the Canon M50 or Canon EOS RP. If you move a bit more up the ladder, you can get a full frame Sony camera like this or the Canon EOS R. Yeah. However, I would strongly recommend a Canon, because the EF and EFS lenses are heck of a cheap deal. I mean, the EF and EFS lenses are so cheap. I mean, you can find a 50mm f1.8 for $80-90, whilst for Sony cameras it's much cheaper, more expensive. And you know, that's also a question I've got, which is like, oh, why should I pay $500-700 for a Canon M50? Because I recommend that before. When they say, oh, I can get this Canon, what the fuck is it called? GX7 Mark II, I can get Sony A5000. I mean, they're cheap. Yeah, they're cheap, they're great. But, however, I would strongly recommend to get a camera that not only performs exactly what you need, but a step higher. I reckon that it's a smart choice to buy a camera that will outlast your vlogging days. Wow, that became philosophical. Those cheap cameras are good at what they do. Not great, but good. But they're not flexible. I mean, this camera has a flip-up screen. Amazing. I mean, this is... It also has a microphone output, so I can have a microphone up here. But it has a microphone. I mean, that's the most important part. And it has interchangeable lenses, which is a dream come true, because I can mount this with a EF-M to EF-S mount. So I can pretty much mount any lens I want that is EF or EFS or EF-M compatible, which is amazing because, you know, I have more flexibility, more options, and if I one day chose to shoot a commercial, which I have, you can check the description down below, you might want to use a 50mm lens or a 200 or 18 or I don't know, you want to have the flexibility, you want to have the options, is what I'm getting to. With the cameras that has a single lens on it, you know, a single zoom lens, it's good for what it does, but the second you want more out of the camera, it's... I do believe this one even has a headphone output. So this one I can record audio with a microphone and listen to it simultaneously, which is amazing. I haven't tried it out yet, but it sounds good. So over to usage. I mean, so this camera is really small. I mean, you can't see it, but it's like that, maybe. It's about the same size as this one, though I have a battery grip. So I mean, it's this small, and I can take the lens off, and I mean, it fits in one hand. It's quite amazing how small it is, actually. Yeah. So I mean, the usage and the carrying is easy. You can easily click on a battery grip. Kinda easy. You have interchangeable lenses. I have a top handle on this one, so I can carry it around. You have a microphone output and a microphone input and a headphone output. I mean, what more can you ask for? The M50 is about the same. I mean, it's small, flip up screen, microphone, just easy to use, just a pleasure to use, actually. It's amazing. Which brings me over to value. I mean, I have a predetermined love for Canon cameras, as we know, but I'm not gonna decide for you. You're gonna decide by yourself. I just love the color science of the Canon. I think the colors turn out great, which is not to say that Sonys are bad, because I love Sony cameras too, which is why I have one. Though this one is quite old. The A7R II came out in 2015, and it does not have touch and does not have a flip-out screen, so you can do this. With the M50, I can tilt it, I can swivel it, I can not come up with any more synonyms for rotating, but you get the gist of it. You can... And the EOS M50 came out in 2018, so it's new. It shoots in 4K, which, I mean, the A7R II does too. But, I mean, they're both great cameras. It's not a comparison between those two cameras in particular, but I would highly recommend you look into the Canon M50 for a typical 2020 YouTube vlogging cheap setup. I don't know, with great quality, of course, because this, I mean, I think it does the job for me. And I have the option to buy other cameras and to use the Sony, but I'm reluctant to change. I mean, I like the Canon cameras quite much, as I mentioned. So that would be the tip from me to you if you're gonna start film. Just look into what your needs are and what type of camera you actually do need, because if you're gonna film yourself, a flip out screen might be nice. I like it. Then it kind of narrows down your search, you know? And I would highly, not even recommend, I would tell you to buy a camera that supports interchangeable lenses, because you need the flexibility. You need to be able to upgrade and to change lenses without changing the whole camera, because that would just be so fucking expensive. So I mean, I would just suggest looking into different cameras, see what your needs are, and find a camera that is kinda cheap, but also outperforms your requests, if that makes sense. I mean, as I said, you can buy a camera like the M50 or equivalent cameras of other brands for around $500-600 with a kit lens included. I mean, it's a great deal actually. You get an amazing camera for quite a few bucks. So just look into what your needs are and kind of shoot above it. You know, you can find these cameras really cheap online, secondhand, third hand. So, you know, my stuff right now is just sitting down. I have a light over here, I have a microphone here. It's quite formal. I could use any camera really, but if you're on the go, you need to vlog, you need a camera that's small, you can swivel the screen, you can have a fast lens that is also wide angle, maybe 10 millimeters. Yeah, no worries, the M50 can support it, but other cameras can too. So it's just looking into your needs and have a camera that is flexible for the same change that you will go through as a creator, because just because you want to vlog now, it does not mean you're gonna want to vlog every single day, bro. So that kind of brings me to this point. Oh yeah, that's right, one more thing.